Good morning to everybody. I trust that everyone is having a beautiful morning so far. It is June 27th here on the island of St. Kitts in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It is a beautiful Thursday morning. I want to say a pleasant morning to everyone who is listening. Those persons who are on their way to work, those persons who might be home, just taking the opportunity to rest, and also those persons who might be at work already. I want to say thank you for listening, Island T. And for those persons who might have missed it this morning and who will be tuning in on, its live stream, and so you have the opportunity to listen after the show has aired. So we want to thank you for your contribution. It's in advance, and you're listening to our program. And this morning, we know that it is Thursday morning. We know that this evening it continues at least for, the main item. I was told that the gospel night already has passed for the music festival, but this evening, it is soca night for the St. Kitts Music Festival. And then we have the Friday night and then the Saturday night. So those persons who excited about the St. Kitts Music Festival, we wish you well, we wish you safety, and we hope that you enjoy it. To those persons who have, traveled from afar, who are back home, who are here in St. Kitts and Nevis for the first time, we hope that you enjoy your time here with us in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I was looking at an article on the WINNMedia Family's page. It's an article that was published by WINNMedia, written by staff here at WINNMedia, and it's in a story, and it says here, I know we've had talks just yesterday morning. We had Social Security here with us, whereby Social Security has said to us that there is going to be some reform, whereby they have said to us that the current monies, if left as is, would be exhausted. There needs to be revision. There needs to be reform to ensure that the fund is still available past 2040. And of course, they said they indicated as well, this is by no means of any mismanagement. The system that is there was intended to be there for at least 30 years, and it's way over the 30-year mark, and so reform is necessary based on the conversations that we had just yesterday morning with Miss Lawrence, who is a representative from the Social Security. And of course, we have our talk with Social Security every last Wednesday of every month. And so we got the opportunity to ask questions. We got the opportunity to engage. And of course, we are grateful for the opportunity. And I think it comes in line, especially when we talk about the free movement too. We have heard whereby there has been talked about full free movement of CARICOM nationals. And just months ago, we had the discussion whereby we heard statements made and articles written stating positions by Caribbean leaders about the full free movement of CARICOM nationals. And of course, since then, there has been, talk about more discussions, further time for implementation, and there has been in discussion, about our population size and whether or not there is need for growth. And here it says in an article by WINNMedia, it says St. Kitts and Nevis needs more people, says Mark Premier Brantley. And it is an article that has been written by Yolanda Weeks. and it was published on June 26th, 2024. Today is June 27th, so it was published yesterday. And it says here, Premier of Nevis, Matt Brantley, raised concerns about the population of St. Kitts and Nevis at his June 19th engagement with the press. And so it says here that the Premier was referring to figures presented by the Statistics Department following a recent census. And in the view of the Premier, with the Sustainable Island State agenda, the focus must be placed on infrastructural development and human capital. And this is a quote directly. It says here, and it says Brantley declared, and quote, I am hopeful that members of the press and the public would agree with me that 51,000 people are far too few to develop St. Kitts and Nevis in a sustainable way. When we take out from that 51,320 those who are elderly, those who are suffering from some sort of disability, and those who are young, very young children, we realize that our productive pool is incredibly small. Put bluntly and shortly, we need more people in St. Kitts and Nevis. End of quote.
What was not covered in the story? Because I remember I was listening live when he made those comments.
Yes.
And he also made some prescriptions, prescription alternatives.
Yes.
And one of the things, obviously, is the thing that maybe some people wouldn't want to hear.
What's that?
Promoting immigration, bringing in people and so on. Of course, come the legal way and so on. But then, and also the other thing is encouraging people to have more children.
Yes.
Right. The problem with that is, the problem with encouraging people to have children is that it's becoming more and more expensive to have children.
Yes.
And even when you're well-heeled, you have a lot of people, even when they have money, they don't necessarily want to have more children. In fact, the article in the news this morning referenced Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, pointing to the fact that it's not even all about poverty and so on, because he said Haiti, which is probably the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, they are one of the few countries that doesn't have a demographic problem. They're not facing any demographic problems as far as replenishment of people or procreation is certainly not a problem over there, right?
Yeah, but I think it goes more to the individual household, because although Haiti has no problem because they're increasing, as you're saying, they're having children and having,
meaning they're so poor. I mean, clearly it's not stopping them from having children.
Yeah, I don't think being poor stops an individual from having
No.
kids.
But try to see the point. The point is, if some people are saying kids are expensive, it's not the only issue, because here it is. You have a country that is extremely poor, and yet you have people having
but listen
kids.
This. You have persons in Haiti, yes, but when you look at when you look at the per family, the income that someone earns there, it would be far less than generally in other Caribbean countries.
Exactly, yeah, and yet they continue to have more than one.
But when you look at but then you go back to the standard of living of that family,
or the cost of living.
Not because you're poor is a restriction to have kids, but if you don't have the financial resources and you continue to have children, the unit that you have with the scarce resources might not be conducive to accommodate all those children you're having in terms of providing them with opportunities. Here, before we go on, he says looking at societies around the world, as they become more prosperous and wealthy, people are making decisions not to have children, hence a decrease in the birth rate.
I was actually looking. Go ahead, caller.
Caller, you're live.
Good morning, Azard and Jamster.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Edinburgh. How are you?
Well, I'm good. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be advancing on the subject that you are advancing on, Azard. I was sent yesterday commentary by you.
Oh yes, I made a
So
commentary.
Yes, so I just want to know up front if I am the advisor that you were referring to in that commentary.
Oh yes, I made mention to some statements that you made. Yes.
Okay. So, Azard, you're the deputy leader of PAM, and I congratulate you. I am respectful of that. I want to see our young people advance politically in this country. But
Thank
I
you.
also would like to see mature leadership coming to the fore. Do you think that you're offering that?
I think so. Yeah. Are you referring only solely based on the comment that I made?
No. I asked generally if you think that you're offering that.
I would like to
Mature
think.
leadership.
I would like to think that, and of course, the people will be the judge at the end of the day. Ultimately.
So Azard, did you listen to the entire program that I had on issues?
Well, I listened to a good amount of it. I did listen to that specific line. And I mean, you're here to talk about it, and you did hear what I said, did you not?
Yes.
And all I said in essence, there was a particular sentence when you talked about creating a mindset of entitlement. And what you said, to me, all I said was that during the election, the Labour Party had given the assurance that a number of things would be given to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. There has been clips, records showing we are members of the Labour Party, even its leader made certain promises to the people. And so when you said that there seems to be a mindset of entitlement, I thought that the Labour Party once, during 2020, sang one song, and now we're hearing the Labour Party government now singing another. It made me think that they contributed to the mindset of entitlement that you now speak about. Because all persons are doing, Mr. Edinburgh, they're just relying on the promises that have been made by the Labour Party during the election manifesto. So when you talk about PAP, there are persons who are in need of social benefits. There are persons who voted for the Labour Party because they thought that the PAP would increase from 500 to 1,500 based on words made and mentioned by representatives of that party during the election campaign. There are persons who are still...
Let me ask you, did you hear me say as well then? You said you listened to a portion. Did you hear me say that if persons came with the argument that not enough is done to empower concern to me? Did you hear me say that?
Yes, and I also heard you made mention of the increase in the minimum wage. And there has been an increase in minimum wage, yes. But there has also been an increase in the cost of living. And so persons, although they are appreciative, I'm sure, of the increase in the minimum wage, we still have to be mindful of the reality that there is a ever-increasing cost of living. And so our realities now are so much different from our realities back 2 years ago, prior to the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine.
I agree with that, but is there something wrong with me wanting persons to move away from a mindset of entitlement and dependency and move to one which this administration is advancing of wealth creation, entrepreneurship, and independence? Is there something wrong with that argument?
On its own, Mr. Edinburgh, on its own, there is nothing wrong with encouraging going away from a mindset of entitlement on its own. But when you look at the context and when you look at the fact that this now mindset of entitlement that you are saying persons have, this mindset could be said to have been encouraged by the same government in power. Because had in 2022, the government, or now within the Labour Party, campaign and saying we are going to ensure that we get rid of this mindset of entitlement when it comes to the PAP, when it comes to all of these. We're going to make sure that we're putting things in place that would enhance and remove this entitlement. You can't say in 2022, I am, so to speak, and you didn't say this, but based on the actions or the conduct, you cannot encourage a behavior when now and say that you're going to even enhance or give more as to what was then, because the PAC was there during 2022. And I'm not saying you specifically, but of course, as an advisor to the Prime Minister, you, by extension, there is some representation of you. And so it wasn't an attack on you, and it was an attack on the statement that was made and the reference, because I believe that it is unfortunate, and this is what I get from as an individual. For example, there are a number of persons who are talking about CBI dividends, and persons are expecting something in June. If persons have questions, they should not be scorned at in terms of making to look bad because they're asking questions about a CBI dividend in June. No, when a leader during a campaign promised that every 6 months.
Exactly. And if you listen carefully what I said with that, I commended the government for what it did. And I said specifically of the dividend, that the definition of a dividend is that it is a return on investment. And so the mindset that people should put to that should encourage them to engage in entrepreneurship. You know, the thing is, the headline that is on your article or on yours is that I somehow went after the people. And that is not true, Azard. I went after the Team Unity government and their creation of that mindset, because it is they who made people think that the state carry them forever.
Let's take what you said as truth, that the Team Unity created that mindset of entitlement. So let's take what you say as truth. And we're going back 2 years from now. We're going back to 2022. We're going into a general election. So if the Labour Party believed that at that time, the government, the ruling party then, the Team Unity administration, PLP, PAM, whatever, had created this sense of entitlement, why didn't the Labour Party say, you know what, these PAP programs, we are going to dismantle them because we believe that is a state of entitlement, our mindset of entitlement we are creating. Why then did the Labour Party not say that, but say we are going to enhance it? In fact, you're getting $500 per household, we're going to give you up to $1,500. Isn't that even adding to the problem that you said that the Team Unity suggested?
If that is what was said, and you see, I would like you and I'm inviting you to sit with me and have a public discourse on all these things. And we can bring, not clips, because I'm the architect of that. And so I'm not upset with you, Azard. That's politics. So I'm not upset with you for taking a clip.
And I'm not upset.
I did it. I still do it. I know how it is done. And so I'm not upset with you. I want you to understand that. I'm not upset with you at all for doing that. That's politics. But I would invite you as a young political aspirant.
Yes.
If you want to change the mindset, let us look at all of those, not the promises per se, and they must be taken into consideration, but look at the context. And we may find that what we think is what was said is really what
I do appreciate you calling in, Mr. Edinburgh, because there are a number of persons who would have seen the article and might not have called in to have a discussion. So I'm good that we can have this discourse. But let me say this, right? My article was based on the fact that I have always said this, you know, and I've seen it while the Labour Party is in office. We are certain things, as said during the election campaign, persons ask questions about them, and instead of getting a genuine answer from those who are in charge now, they're looked at in a sort of scorn or contempt. Like, why dare you? Why are you asking me this? But you're only asking based on the statements made by that individual or that party and reliance on that promise made.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
And so I do see what you're saying in terms of mindset of entitlement and in terms of creating persons should create opportunities for wealth and development. And of course, government should create that. But what I disagreed with you on is the fact of saying that no, when simply persons are just relying on a promise that has been made by those persons in the Labour Party. Of course, you did not make that statement. Back in 2022.
I'm a part, even though I'm at the highest level of the administration, I'm a part of the administration.
Yeah, and
so I'm prepared to take the blame for anything as well.
And as an advisor,
I just want to make clear, Azard, that I did not attack the people. At any time, I spoke about the mindset and what it is doing to us.
Then,
I don't think it's
Mr. Edinburgh,
my opinion.
I get that, but you know what you could do as well still is say to the leaders in the Labour Party, this mindset of entitlement has been encouraged also by those of us in this party, meaning the Labour Party, because in 2022, instead of saying that we're going to make changes to the PAP in a way to enhance and create this level of independence, we said we're going to just triple what the current administration is doing, and by doing that, we added to the so-called problem that you now are saying is
Here's
wrong.
what I would say to that. I am employed as an advisor in the Prime Minister's office. And that's a highly confidential appointment. And so I can't tell you what I did and did not discuss with the Prime Minister.
And that is fine. That is fine. And I respect that.
Tell anybody anything in relation to any discussion I've had with the Prime Minister.
Yes.
People can assume, and if they assume the worst, I'm prepared to take the fallout to that.
Yes.
If they assume the best, then I'm prepared to take the credit. But I will not confirm or deny, because my job is a highly confidential one.
Yes, it is. And it is. I appreciate that. In fact, just today, before I came here, I was listening to an interview by David, where David Cameron was the interviewee. And he was speaking about the campaign and a decision made by the current Prime Minister of the UK. And the interviewer was asking questions. And, of course, there are certain things that he couldn't reveal. So I do appreciate that there's a level of confidentiality, of course. But all I'm saying, just remind him before you speak that, persons, one, are just relying on a promise that has been made by the Labour Party. So if persons are now coming and asking for things, it's because the Labour Party promised them in 2022. Secondly, if persons have a mindset of entitlement, that was encouraged by the Labour Party during the 2022 election.
Okay, and I know that you guys have segments and seats going over the time, and persons may want to comment. Azard, I thank you for this discourse as well, and I'm hoping that you and I can...
We can engage, definitely, we can. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you very much as well.
So, what was that about? I didn't quite follow.
So there was...
up to your political intrigues again?
Well, as deputy leader, I do make some statements.
Sowing intrigue and skullduggery?
Oh, no.
Political skullduggery.
I would say jamster. That there was a comment that some comments being made on another radio station during another program in which Mr. Edinburgh hosts. And so based on those, certain aspects of what he said was circulated.
Oh, okay.
And I made a comment based on that. And so he called in this morning and we engaged based on the comments made.
Okay.
I do hold my position.
One of the things discussed was, what was it? We were talking about the kind of warped entitlement the locals have, where wanting money and not think.
So he was saying that, you know,
where the money's coming from. And
he was saying that there is a mindset of entitlement.
But he's right.
But what I was saying is that that mindset of entitlement was encouraged during the 2022 election.
Well, it was discouraged for it's been encouraged for decades.
But
so
I made specific because he was talking about the PAP and he was talking about the CBI. Because, you know, this is June and a lot of persons have been asking about the CBI dividends.
And yeah, someone was making a joke yesterday saying, oh, well, I wonder if they're not going to pay us the money now, so we have money to go music festival.
Yes. But the thing about it, and I say you have to be very careful on promises that you give. We have a caller. Caller, you're live on Island T.
Good morning to everybody.
Hi, good morning, Gregory. How are you?
I'm blessed in Jesus' name.
Wonderful.
For you all as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, first of all, I'm calling in to say that, with all due respect, all of the parties have been encouraging the entitlement mentality in the people, because all of you all.
Let's say warped. I think the better word to use would be warped entitlement, undue entitlement.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that is. I won't argue with that. I will not argue with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but both parties, but I shouldn't say both because there are more than one. All the parties in St. Kitts and Nevis have encouraged the people to be dependent on the government, and it's a bit ironic.
Okay, Gregory, you made that opinion. You made that opinion. Do you have any facts to support that?
Yes, because you're all during election time telling the people, hey, you elect us, we're going to take care of you.
You have any specific facts?
Hello?
You have any specific... you said you made a generalization that all parties have created a level of entitlement. So when you say all parties, you mean all parties. I have asked you, based on your opinion, do you have any facts to support that?
Yeah, like I said, during election time, so you're all promising the people that you all are going to take care of them. You all are going to take care of the business. These things
take care of them. Take care of them in what form? Because you could say take care of the people, meaning that you're going to ensure that the country is going well. You could ensure that the development of the country is at a level where persons are taken care of. When you say take care of the people, what do you mean? Be specific.
For example, the people want to be empowered. Ironically, you all encourage them that, hey, they got to come to you all to be empowered.
You think that
you all promise them these tap things and these social programs that, hey, you can't survive unless we, the government, providing these handouts to you. You are and people really come to believe that, hey, anything in life, this country can't survive unless the government is providing it or doing it. And so the people look to you all for everything.
I mean,
the people during election time.
There are some. It goes both ways on the fence. I mean, there are some persons who, and you know, people are different. So there are some persons too. When you go to them in various areas, you do walkthroughs, you do house to house. There are some persons who say they're not voting because if you don't give them X amount of money. There are some persons who said unless you assist them in the construction of their homes, they're not going to support you. So yeah, there might be politicians who have created this entitlement, but there are some persons on the ground that too have encouraged this type of mindset as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not disputing that. But all of you all are also part of this warp entitlement mentality problem.
Well, you say all of you all, and when you say you all, it makes it seem like you're including me. So let me say that
When I say you all, come on, Azard.
We have to be very clear with language because,
But Azard, we're not in a courtroom. Come on.
No, we have to be very clear with language.
I get what he's saying.
No, so
I don't think he means you personally.
I'm just making my statement. I'm saying I believe in empowerment. Okay. I believe.
Yes. When I say you all, well, it would include.
Well, you could say if you're not including me, then you could say they. Machine. You could say they instead of you all. You could say they.
No, but you are part of the political machine, so you are associated with it.
And I say I believe in empowerment. I do believe that government. There are some aspects where government would have to provide assistance for those who are less fortunate. You understand? Where government would have to create a safety net for those persons who are less fortunate. Okay, Gregory?
But the problem is, I know you're gonna get you all vexed, including Jamster as well. But the problem is that these social programs, yes, these social programs that you all think are helping are really doing more harm than good. And let me say when you subsidize poverty, you end up creating more poverty, which these government social programs are doing and helping to create the entitlement mentality. It helps to create it. So none of y'all hands are clean when it comes to not creating this entitlement mindset.
Okay, Gregory. So that is your opinion. And as I said before, based on this statement, what I was saying, and I don't know if you listened to the article that I wrote or the post that I made on my Facebook page or the statement that I released, what I said, and all I was saying is that you can. So let me say you ought not. You ought not to call somebody greedy. And I'm paraphrasing. You ought not call somebody greedy if it is that you say, I'm going to provide you with 6 meals per day. And then if it is that you let me into this house, and I'm now into the house, and the person is asking, can I get my 6 meals? And you say to them, this level of greediness is absurd. You can't, but before you were in the house, you were in the house, you tell me that if I let you into the house, you can give me 6 meals. All I doing is asking you for the 6 meals, and now you're telling me that I greedy? Gregory, that's all I'm saying. You understand?
Take a call.
We'll take another call, Gregory.
Hello, caller.
Good morning, peace to all.
Hey, good morning.
The topic, what's happening here.
Yes.
I just want to say, it's
Lincoln, could you be brief because we have another call. We have another call, and
hello.
I was saying if you could be brief because we have another call. Someone else is calling at the moment. So go ahead.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that the point Azard was trying to make is a valid one and should be looked at. When persons paint a broad brush to all politicians, it's a sad thing because you know what? If you this morning, Johnson, they said you're going to get in politics. You know what I mean? You get caught up in it as well. And it's not fair for persons who haven't even been into government to make a contribution. Okay?
Good point.
And everybody who gets into politics try to get into make a contribution. But as I was saying, promises. And when it comes about to dependency, in the past, when PAM, and people like to say all politics, because PAM was there for 15 years. And during those years, the program that brought in was to help everybody, school meals, books, and that's like. This financial one that we're talking about that are making persons dependable, just looking out for financial things for handout, that came some time after. And that party that was in power for 20 years. And suppose they're all government, as you say. But remember, for 20 years, before 2016, it was the same party in government, but with different people. And persons who may not be old enough to realize PAM, because I talked to some people, and they didn't even realize or know anything about when PAM was in government and the good things that they would have put into place. So sometimes we have to put things in perspective, because this broad thing, it seems as if over the 40 years, it's like you keep going back and forth, one party in, one party out. And, different parties getting blamed wrongly for certain things. And we should put things in perspective, because we have younger people who want to know the actual history of our country. And even some person we have to remember. So I just want to stop there, because as you say, you have I can't really get to say what I want. to say completely, but I just want to get that also to bring back us to perspective so we could understand that when things are said like that, a part that was not in government for 20 years getting blamed for when they did so many good, and the programs that they brought in were not a financial dependency. It was school programs and these kind of things to make things better for school children, because we know where we were coming from. And if you check our history when we came from 1980, people would know where we came from, and it was and during that time, St. Kitts and Nevis was known as the most economic developed country in the Caribbean and Latin America, and that proved something. Something was done, and there was no dependency, because persons will tell you the amount of things that they had, and local people and business were flourishing until they compared to now. It's a different kettle of fish. And therefore, that is why people are dependent, because when there's a need and there's a lack of something, persons gravitate to something or someone to depend to go along, to get along. So I just want to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Thank you. Peace to constituents yourself.
Thank you so much. Yes. We have another caller on the line?
No, the person hung up.
No problem. So callers, you're encouraged to call in and weigh in on your views.
I had someone calling from the VI who was trying to get in. But,
no problem.
They had to call another line because I told them to call back. So hopefully,
yeah, so they can call back.
That might have been her calling when,
yes,
when Lincoln
no problem.
called.
But yeah, as we were saying, this is what I really look at it. And we have a caller.
Yeah, caller,
go ahead.
Yes, good morning, guys.
Mm-hmm. Hi, good morning. How are you, Mr. McMahon?
I'm good. It's so interesting when politicians have to walk back and do damage control based on statements that they've made.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows that you should be judicious in the first place and be careful with what you say.
Yes.
Right? In this particular instance, it sounded like an attempt to blame the people for what has befallen them, when in fact, as I think you pointed out,
yes,
the politicians are the ones who made certain promises and give these handouts and so on, and so they are the ones who are culpable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you expect the people not to take stuff that is offered to them?
Exactly.
Or to not is pull the rug from on the people, right? That's to me that would be it's bad politics, and it's just bad.
And
right?
another
people,
thing, Mr. McMahon, what I have realized with this administration is like during the election campaign, you made so many promises without even checking to see if these promises were even plausible. After the election, we talk about the 2,400 houses, whereby this administration said that they're going to build 600 per year. When I heard that, it's not that I don't want persons to get homes and that I wouldn't like 600 homes built for persons per year. But then when I look at the reality, when I look at the resources, I said that seems very unlikely. So I thought to myself, if I could see it from an outside perspective, that seems very unlikely. Why can't those
I think
with the resources?
I think it's disrespectful to the electorate to come with these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
Because just like how you can see that something is not practical.
Yes.
You don't think most people, after all, we have a high literacy rate. You really think that most people can't see through these things as well?
It's as though they think that the electorate just that the electorate is ignorant. That you come and you say whatever.
The mere fact that there's been accusations of bribery and cheating suggests that is exactly how they feel, and that is why I call it disrespectful.
To date, even with the housing program, even with
you give them anything, no matter if it seems pie in the sky, they will vote based on that, as opposed to making some kind of sound judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think maybe politicians find it convenient to look at an electorate in that way, as very unsophisticated and so on, and treat them as such. But I don't think that is what politicians in 2024 should be doing. They should be going, they should be aiming higher, they should be aiming for better standards and treat the people with respect.
Yeah, and we are...
I always say, Azard,
yes,
and this would apply to you as well as a certain politician. If you do the right things, you would be rewarded for it. Because if you do the right things, the economy would be such that it would empower people. People would be happy and be able to fend for themselves without groveling to any politician and so on. If you do the right things.
Correct.
Right? To me, that is the role of government. There's this thing about taking care of people.
And the thing about it, Mr. McMahon,
is to create opportunities and investment and growth, and then people would be taken care of automatically.
And the thing about it, Mr. McMahon, this thing, when it comes to elections, they are manifestos, they are policies. You understand? I would like to think that our electorate is at the point of we are so educated because a lot of us, we have skills, we have exposure to certain information that, our forefathers didn't have. So we have a more... I would assume, when it comes to certain things being said by politicians, we have a more critical mind. You understand? We are more enlightened, yes. And so, for me at least, when it comes to the manifesto, I think the manifesto should propose, to me, it is almost a contract between the party and the electorate, the representative and the electorate. It is, to me, a contract whereby you say, if you afford me the opportunity to serve, this is what I'm going to do for you as best as possible. And unless aspects of that contract has been frustrated, you understand, because you have frustration in contract whereby whatever you're contracted to do, there is nearby impossibility. It is impossible to do, impossible to perform. You understand? But...
Yeah.
Performing something that you have said you're going to do, even if it's more tiresome, even more expensive, does not negate you from ensuring that you get that thing done, because that is not seen as impossibility. Possibility. If I say I'm going to sell you, if I said I'm going to sell you my vehicle.
But there may be particular reasons why certain things can't get done. And certainly the people would understand that as well, whether it is COVID intervened or the war in Ukraine or whatever. Okay? And politicians should not assume that people would not understand these things.
For example, Mr. McMahon, let me ask you this. I'm going back to the housing because it's glaring. You understand? We had investors here. They talk about whatever products that they're going to do, the 2,400 houses that are going to be built by the end of their term. We see 2 model homes. 2 model homes.
Just 2, yeah.
Has any explanation been given as to the 600 that missing from last year, 600 that missing from this year?
Yeah, there should be an explanation.
No explanation. You ask about it.
I have to run. I have an appointment. I have to run. But nice discussion and continue it.
Thank you. I never thought I'll have the opportunity to sit here and listen to Mr. McMahon say that he has to run.
No, I was just about to say I was trying to get away from your clutches.
But yeah, we have the 600 homes that promise per year. I asked somebody, have you seen them built? Because I haven't seen them. Have you seen a statement by the government saying that this is the reason? No.
I just hope you can take the heat when the shoe is on the other foot, or if the shoe gets on the other foot.
You have to be very careful.
It's a big if.
So yes, so you
it's
have
a big if,
and that's for the people to decide. And I'm mindful of that.
Caller, go ahead.
People would always be the ultimate judge.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes.
I was thank you for running by because you're waiting for me. Love you, Ira. Love you, Ira.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Edinburgh.
Yes.
George, you didn't ask the right question, I asked him a question. I think I asked the Prime Minister too.
Yes.
About the housing, and he gave me. Because I asked him what exactly is the reason for the holding up.
Okay.
And he indicated that the people wanted they had to make adjustment to the plan, and then they realized that they didn't have enough money, so they had to go back to the I won't say benefactor, to the bank. They use the word bank.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's financed out of China. So I asked them, well, why did the government have to put money into NHC for NHC to build?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, you see, but the investor really had no money, because if you already built with what you have, you should be able to build, because when they introduced the person, they said, it's not going to cost the government anything. They put up a guarantee, and the builder will, the person who get the house to pay the mortgage to the builder.
To the bank. They will
Yes,
get...
but and the bank sends it to the company.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said, well, that sounds like the program gone in.
But you know, Miss Henry, when you think about it and you take what they say and you apply some logic to it, you realize that it's something it just ain't adding up.
No, because if they said that it's not going to cost us anything, they coming with the money and the things. Well, if you build two, at least you could have built 200 so long.
And if 200 had been built, I think, you could have said, okay, well, we have started,
Right, the money we had allocated for this year. But nothing doing. Anyway, I asked my good friend Edinburgh about the dividends.
Yes.
I said, well, your Prime Minister, well, he did indicate that, he hinted that he might not be able to do it. I heard him say it,
Okay.
You know how things are. He said, oh, he didn't say that. I said, well, the end of the month is coming up.
We have 3 more days.
And yes. I said, well, people would have wanted the money to go music festival. I asked them about the $250 that they promised to give. What about that? I said, what they have done, they overpromise. And it is a lot of politicians like that. I wouldn't say all sides, on both sides. On the tree side.
They overpromise and underperform.
And underperform, these things were never intended for them to be done. You underperform if you're doing something.
So there was no intention.
If you make a promise, I'm going to give you 50. I was in protesting when they said that. And they're going to make it like the program they had before. So the program they had before was financed by South American or whatever government, right? It wasn't government finance. And when the program ran out, it stopped. And there were only a few people on it. So having that knowledge, because it was on the Honorable Marcella, then we can have it like this program and whatever. I asked them the other day, well, what was the result of the check-in?
Yes.
They're going to lay off people after 2 years, you're off. Some people who make, even if you make 2,500, you're coming off.
Yes.
So what they are doing, in fact, is increasing poverty. And then the accusation. Yeah, he made the accusation. I said, well, you said these things. You should come back to me, right? People got to be understanding, too. If you come back and say, look, I really intended, because it could be true. Yes. I really intended to do so and so and so. But given the state of the economy, and you got to call figures, you can't just make them blank statements. Because the truth is, if you listen to the discussion and debate about the CBI, they made a lot of millions,
Yes.
Last year, they made enough to get the dividends.
And
because the numbers they're calling out, 32,000 by this and that. But how much million or thousands by this year, June?
Yeah.
Are same match.
But all I'm saying, right?
We're still busy selling.
When you say make statements about you giving dividends twice per year and stuff like that, it sounds nice there and then. But one must have an understanding that that you just ought not to say things that just sound fancy with no intention.
I know, but what I'm saying, he could have meant it coming on us, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, when you this furrow start,
yes,
and June is approaching, not June start, say something.
And nothing has been said.
No, he's telling me, oh, June ain't finished. I said, well, when you're gonna pray?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I like no promises, dear. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, and they know. Some of them know, some of them don't know, really know. They say what they say. But you see, when people don't trust you,
mm-hmm.
and you even come with the truth,
yes,
it's like the wolf, right?
Yes, it's true.
Wolf.
And then persons...
People come and nothing there. The next time you promise, the body gonna even take you on.
But, and then it's you know how it looks, and you know, when you're outside, you really could see. It looks as though...
All politicians, eh?
It looks as though, right, Miss Henry, is like you're outside and you're the electorate and things are going, difficult, whereas you have the persons...
Let me put it blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, the electorate, some of them deserve it. No. Everybody not fool, Some of them know. All they hope that they get their share before everything run out.
But it's as though...
everybody is so stupid. When you can give 1,500 and they say so many thousands on pap.
Okay, then.
How is that going to pan out?
And when I heard the promise, I was like, how is this? I'm no economist. I'm no economist. You're right, Miss Henry. You have the statistics and so. But when I look at it, I say...
How much millions?
I say... Okay.
Look, let me tell you something.
This
Our
is
people
why...
hear me. They say a promise is a comfort to a fool. And all it means, a lot of us foolish. The Bible says when the wicked rule, the people mourn. And when the righteous rule, the people are glad.
And you have persons here on the ground now feeling the squeeze. And it's as though the members, the administration, they're deaf.
You stop with the Bible?
No, what you're going to say? Tell me.
The one with David and Lazarus.
Yes.
He was eating and even feeding dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Lazarus was by the gate. He never wanted him to say, the old man, soul man, go get a man that.
Yeah.
When you're in a certain position, you just don't see. You don't see,
It's
That's why politicians, when they're out, they see.
Yeah.
When you reach in and you get satisfied.
I just think that politicians, I feel like they just get breathless in the heat of political combat, and enough realism. Well, realistic thinking doesn't go into crafting the promises that you make. It's best to under promise. It's best to under promise and over deliver.
Right?
Yes.
The good advisor.
Yes.
My good friend, me and that debate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is this. There are strategies. I had a book, called Rules for Rebels. Rules for Rebels. About when I was at university. God did this socialist kind of thing. There are certain strategies you use to catch people.
Mm-hmm.
You say, look how they have back in Hamas and nobody saying let go the hostages, eh?
Yeah.
And then you had them in Kenya. The man said he withdrew the tax. They got some people who have the creating.
Yes.
Go back to the place still. So that the people like that is well, man, this is election. Once you're in the car until 2027.
Yes.
But they better learn.
Mm-hmm.
And all who out there, all the deputy leader there. Mm-hmm. If you're sitting down and waiting for the party to crash, or you're waiting till 2023, Timothy done ahead everybody, eh? So, maybe say you're shocked and how he might go back in. Because he seems to be the only one who go with them. But serious.
We need...
All of this talk about, and the wit.
Oh, yes.
Nothing will come out of that. Nothing is going to come out of that. Number one, the person who brought the wit, what claimed out? I couldn't sell my thing. Is that good enough? I mean, you got to be logical. Well, I tried to sell my thing then because the ones were cheaper, couldn't get by sell.
But you see, you Miss Henry, I understand what you're saying, right? But I think a lot of persons are still appreciative of something being done because they want the information. Yes. So at this point, persons want to know what has been happening because it has been a dark cloud for some time.
Hello, for some people. What was going on?
Yes.
Don't fool yourself. And it's more than all who the name. Who were in, who were out, all of them mix up. But the thing is this, nobody stopped to think what would be the impact or the effect on the poor people. What will happen to the papa that they don't cut down? Where's the money coming from for all these social safety net programs?
Mm-hmm.
So you find out Douglas business, you find out Harris business, and all parties guilty or not. What does that do for the country?
Mm-hmm.
What does that do? You could have write up something and challenge them in court. What can the man brought to the country? What can he add to the country? I mean, really, when I heard the Wednesday commentator.
Yes.
I mean, before we take my little house here, I don't blind, I got to walk on past you. I mean, serious. So you're going after two people, how many? 5 of them in there? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for every 10 that you name, they got maybe 200 out here. And some people would have benefited. But the man himself, what is his case? Oh, they were underselling? Well, listen again. The government of the OECF, those who have the CBI program, they have all agreed to sell no less than 200. Well, didn't the law pass at 250?
Say that again?
They passed a thing the other day in the House that says the price of our CBI is 250,000.
Yeah, I think there was something recently passed. Before it was, I know they had.
The other day.
Yeah, I know it wavered between, I think, 170.
But this week or last week,
okay,
the OECF countries met together.
Okay.
And they signed an agreement not to sell below the 200,000 mark.
I know there was some sort of mutual agreement between the OECS, yes.
200,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't that underselling? If you say we can 50 and go out and agree with Antigua and everybody, well, you can't sell them for 175 now. You can't sell. There are ways and means of getting around that starter program. And I ask the question again, why isn't the Basti High School priority? We have a hospital that is functioning. Mm-hmm. We have brought in, the government has brought in new machine, new equipment, brought in additional technical persons.
Yes.
So there's no rush for the new one. Basti High School in the same old board building 12 years ago. Dig up the ground. They have a plan, they could execute the same plan.
Mm-hmm.
You have your new plan, we begin to execute it.
But you talk about the Basti High School, Miss Henry, and, the Keon High School is seemingly to be...
Keon High School.
But based on what I have been hearing and the claims made, it doesn't seem like they have a safe environment there. So they haven't been actually physically in there for some time.
Well, I tell you already, once you have any lot of sun and rain and sun, you will get the fungus and the mold.
You called
what they need is maybe the cleaners who clean the school, be equipped, given the thing to clean the walls or wherever. That's all it is,
Yes.
So if they are bringing people, look, once every month you clean this school. But in the same like Basti High School, every government allows things to run down to the ground. And when they go so far, you got to move. Or we give them steel toilet and steel face basin. You can't use the school.
Yeah.
So to me, you should prioritize the education of the Basti High School. And my good friend who had to run it up, don't build no modern thing, man. That can't happen. So where are the plans? Have you seen the new plans?
No, I haven't. Wait. Let me say. I see some.
Drawings they're talking about.
I saw none of the drawings. When you have the model, The 3D model, I think I've seen the 3D model for the Bastard High School.
How they compare to the one over by and the you see?
That's a good question. You know, I saw both of them at 2 different times, and they were so far from each other.
Put them together.
I haven't put them
at the same time because you see the government will save money. Because I am sure those who are doing the model copy some of the thing. Because the thing is ours, right? The government paid for the joints for the aquifer one, you know. Belongs to the government.
Yeah.
All they have to do, make modifications to it. So I'm sorry for Edinburgh. A hard job. He has a hard job, but I'm sorry for him.
Yes.
But he trying his old tactics. What you call it for? You should ask him, when are we going to get the dividend? And you know what the dividend is. When the dividend was given, the explanation is given. Of course, I have shares in some business.
Yes.
One like cable and wireless, to give nothing. That when the company makes a profit, it gives you or it does not have to give you.
Yes.
So you said that. Are we to assume that the CBI did not make a profit? That's the question. All the talking, they have not said how much they sell, you know. How much, apart from the 19,000 that he made. How much, not how much is how many we could count, much is liquid. How many did he sign from August until this year?
Yes.
That is not part of the conversation. Because I could bet you, we're not going to make a lot of little car once the people who this talking about. They pass it, the due diligence. They pass it, you know.
Yeah. Someone made a comment right now here, Miss Henry, on the Facebook. They said, as the houses are built overseas, remember this government said that they work outside of the country. They already built 600 homes already outside of St. Kitts. All them.
Yeah, but they don't transport them. I think they built them in Antigua. And the question here still is, where is the land? I was surprised when he mentioned that the new hospital for the people down Ross, not our hospital, you know, because we're going to stay right up there, the poor people up there, and they're down there. They acquired 10 more acres. I said, look at that, no? 10 more acres. And Mr. Politics can't get the land for cattle. The people who want to get houses raise the land. Up to now, they have not said, well, we're going to build the houses over Cayon, down St. Paul's. No, unless you have land. Because they said 300 and something people already approved for mortgage. So what is the hold-up?
Okay, then. But wouldn't this have been in contemplation before you even make these grand announcements? Anyway, we have a break. Yeah. We have a break.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Welcome to the Mango Festival. We got sweetness overload. Mango Festival. It's a treat for everyone. Mango Festival. A taste of name is naturally Mango Festival. Mango Fest right here in Greece City. Give me little mango. I saw my lime and I go sweet, so give me little mango. Boy, girl, woman and man go. Give me little mango. I saw my lime and I go sweet, so give me little mango. Join the action, Mango Festival.
Nevis Mango Festival from July 4th to July 7th. 10th anniversary in Queen City, Nevis.
Mango Festival. Mango Fest right here in Queen City.
Get your bliss on. Get your bliss on. Get your bliss on. Cash bliss.
Play Cash Blitz and get your blitz on. Cash Blitz is here, the newest scratch game from the Caribbean Lottery. With 4 tickets to choose from and the chance to win the big ticket top prize of $200,000. So get your blitz on today at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over.
Get your blitz on. Cash Blitz.
Time is money, and you can save both with CIBC Caribbean. Set up our automatic monthly savings transfers and watch your money grow. Just pick an amount, an end date, and your money will transfer into your savings account each month. So whether it's your little one's future education abroad, a dream car, or a house you can call home, set it and forget it so you can focus on the now and enjoy the then. Bump up your savings account or open one at CIBC Caribbean.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
It's new and only at ICWI, the insurance company of the West Indies. Receive free windscreen cover when you purchase your third-party policy with ICWI. You heard right. Free windscreen cover with your third-party policy for only a limited time. If you're a third-party policy holder, take advantage of this limited time offer and switch to ICWI for added protection. Isn't it time you experience insurance the ICWI way? Conditions apply. Click, call, or visit ICWI today. Visit us at 1C Bird Rock Road. Call 465-8753 or ICWI.com.
It's Island Tea. It's 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, and we head straight back to the phone lines. It's the first night of St. Kitts Music Festival, and let's see what's on this caller's mind. Hi, caller.
Hi, good morning. Is this WINNFM?
Oh, hi, Gwen. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. I was just trying to get in on Azard because I really need to make a point.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Azard?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
I do a lot of blogs, as you know. We
yes,
call them posts as
I
well.
see them.
I
see them.
I have time to do these things all day long and pay attention. Now, last week at the roundtable meeting, which was held between the Prime Minister and Ike, he gave the impression, I got to say the impression, that the reason why the houses have not been built as yet is because they had to increase the spaces or the sizes of the rooms. You know, I don't think that is a plausible explanation.
Of course.
You know, you can't tell me that, you had already established them for 10 by 10, and, the people are now saying they want 12 by 12, and the cost would not increase. You and I know better.
Yeah.
All of these things should have been ventilated and trashed out before these things were put together. Azard had been a banker for a very long time, and I understand these things. When they were perusing these drawings from the onset, these things should have been ventilated. So to tell us now, almost a year later, with only 2 model homes built and were given away, that the other 600 homes are not going to be built because of room sizes.
But Gwen,
it's just ridiculous.
Gwen, you know what it does?
Time frame. We keep on getting information from the government without specific time frames, and that's choking them a whole lot. Our Prime Minister does not give us time frames. He actually said on one occasion that he will not inform us about matters until they're crystallized. That's wrong. That's a modus operandi that's choking the government. It is just not good, and we have to continuously pay attention and hold their feet to the fire. We should never, ever dismiss any of those round table meetings whenever he comes to speak.
Gwen, before you go,
There's a lot of things that keep the country spellbound.
Gwen, before you go,
have
right?
to pay attention to it.
What it says to me, because these are persons who are going overseas because they travel a lot. They go overseas. We're not
They live abroad now.
We're not there at their meeting.
Anymore. They live abroad. They say they're working from abroad, and it's all about the per diem. People always have money on their minds, Azard. That is the problem.
And look at it, right?
And if there's any truth about $400 per day, US, you know what's happening right there. That's what's driving their psyche. Developing syndicate and making sure that the people are better off, that's not driving their psyche whatsoever. And those are the fundamental problems that I have with them, and they're killing the country. It's not right.
But look at the mistakes that they have made. Look at the housing. They make a promise 2,400 homes. They only build 2 model homes. Then they say that they, based on the explanation that you're given, and you're thinking, well, this wasn't in contemplation before you make this grand opening, this grand remark. So what are they going overseas? When they go overseas, imagine what they're saying. If it what
is actually happening to Syndicate is that every time they come on the radio to talk to the nation, they come with some flimsy script, like something they just dream up overnight. This is what I need to tell the people. Because there is no plan, there is no structure. It is clear to be seen, you know, Azard. Clear to be seen. There's no plan and structure. And this is why we are in a bind. We are in a pickle. I blog about these things all day long. And I'm not concerned about who wants to get upset with what I'm saying, because people need to open their eyes and recognize what is happening to the country.
Yes.
I keep on saying, well, it's in opposition. It was a big song and dance about many things. And now that you've been placed in government, this is what we're getting. This is the backlash. This is unacceptable.
It clearly is.
Lackluster performance, and nobody wants to call it out because somebody's protecting a job. It's ridiculous. We can't continue.
At some
But
times.
you see, the strategy is to wait until, continue to be a hardships. Wait until close to elections, another 3 years, maybe next year, to start to roll out some programs. And then people will forget. Because remember, we are a people with bird brains, you know. We don't remember stuff.
But, you know, I sometimes wonder if they're campaigning themselves out of office based on what they have they're doing.
I don't think so, Azard. They're looking at the 6-5 scenario and think that, I mean, they're in the driver's seat, not recognizing that the last election was like an anomaly. It was a strange election, because you have to recognize the people who supported the People's Action Movement. They also voted for Labour because they wanted to get rid of Tug based on what was happening. Azard, you're aware of that? Just don't sugarcoat it. No doubt you have some Labour supporters who went to PLP, who jumped back into the river on the bank situation and voted again for Labour. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the next elections we're going to have that same situation. The dynamics will always change every election. And you tell me what the government is doing right now to really guarantee another 6 again.
And we're seeing across the region, look at St. Martin in their situation with so much, you know, so much split coalition. We look at the UK. The UK persons, they're going to vote on July 4th, and you have a lot of persons who aren't voting based on traditional party lines. Persons are more and more, the electorate is voting on issue. There's no loyalty to party.
But remember, Kittitions are very unique, Kittitions and divisions, and I want to emphasize Kittitions because I live here. Divisions, in my opinion, don't get too caught up with the politics of St. Kitts. They talk a lot about Nevis because I pay attention to the posts and, you know, the sound bites. So we are saying here that Kittitions are very unique people. You give them some money, you give them a bit of fat, free rum, and they're good to go. They're not thinking long term, the bigger picture. This is why a lot of people are not getting their act together.
It is sad. It is very sad.
Very sad.
And you see...
And if you recognize, too, there is no empowerment, they're not bringing anybody along because they recognize how to keep the people in a mendicant state. And this is what's happening. You know, right now, music festival starting tonight. Everybody is looking out for dividends. Anybody is wondering what is happening to the economy? And the slowdown and the CBI?
No capital projects.
The situation was a few days talking, like everything else. But people only concerned about what you can give them for the moment. They're not looking at the bigger picture of long term. And as that I say these things because I know I'm a bigger picture kind of individual. That's why I can sit down at home.
Yes.
And literally for the rest of my life. Because I put things in place. I'm trying to tell Kittitions, get on board, put things in place. The tribalism and a lot of politicking and getting upset with people. And the sad thing about it is that the persons who are getting upset are the ones who are worse off. I don't know if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I understand.
Those are the persons, they're making a lot of noise for the politicians. These are the same people who are going in the back room and begging, I want something. Help me out here. I have this bill to pay. And these are the people who are not getting ahead because the politicians laugh at them and take them for a ride.
Yeah.
Azard, we live here. We understand it.
There are persons.
Sometimes I have conversations with people, and somewhere in the conversation you hear that they either call Dr. Drew, and he didn't really give them attention. He doesn't want to see them at this time. He's gonna want to see them in 2 years when it's time to vote.
But listen,
that's what it's all about.
There's some people.
Keep me happy.
There's some persons
happy.
There's some persons who complain in private, complain to persons in private, and when they see their representatives or the persons elected, they smile. You wonder if it's the same person.
That's what I said last week. You listened to that thing that Ken we played with my sound bites. I said the same thing. They are making noise behind the politicians' back, basically. And when they see them, they want to smile with them. That is something I cannot do. If I have to lambaste the politician to his face, I'm going to do it. In fact, yesterday I did it to one of them. In a business place. I didn't go easy. I'm not looking for any popularity contest with anybody in Azard. I'm a citizen of this country, and that's why I speak.
And
remember, I've come from a strong labor background.
Yes, we all know.
Labor background. I'm not a PLP, I'm not a CCM, and I'm not a PAM.
We understand.
Very strong labor background. Labor is in my DNA, but I cannot subscribe to what is going on right now. It's disappointing.
And people need to understand that, if you don't speak out, if you look afraid to talk about things that concern you, things that affect you, then they're going to continue to do it.
Is that when I worked in the banking system, even though I carried out the bank's work, I used to tell the bank when I disagreed with stuff, my bosses would tell you about me. I never used to subscribe to everything. Yes, I would do what they wanted me to do in the final analysis and move on. But I would tell them when I was in disagreement. Because to my mind, Canada set policies. But were they always applicable to the people of St. Kitts? Hell no. I was doing the job. Yes. I knew it was all about making money for them to keep them happy, because that was the bigger picture. And whatever I didn't feel was, really, beneficial to the people of St. Kitts, I would voice my opinions and concerns.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean I could tell you in the final analysis I wouldn't carry it out, because then I would not be able to continue with the job. I'll be fired. But I didn't agree with everything Azard, and that is why it keeps me,
Yes.
my mental state in check.
And it's a good thing that you're such a strong person, because,
You have to be strong. I'm a father's child. My mother always used to tell me, because she's deceased, Gwen, you didn't take after me, because she was a very quiet woman.
Yes.
Put up with a lot of stuff with my dad. You know what I mean?
You got some persons because...
I did not have her mentality whatsoever. Maybe this is the reason why I decided to look after her and ensure that she was good right down to her death.
Yeah.
You see?
And I'm sure,
you know
based on your own vocal attributes, based on your boldness, I'm sure you have been criticized, you have been ostracized, you've been...
Azard, I'm the kind of person, nobody can approach me and tell me anything about my criticisms. And even to say, out there in public, I really don't care. I think by now people of St. Kitts should know that about me.
Yes.
I go about my business, I call myself a lone wolf.
And I listen to you at first,
keep me strong as well. I'm not dependent. I never was, never will be. When I left school, Azard, I never had to ask my parents for anything. I set out to work at age 21, right down to age 54. I blog about these things.
Yeah, and I realize,
Once
right?
you're telling the truth, your story shouldn't change, eh?
Yeah, I
Once
realize.
you're telling the truth, Azard, always remember that.
I realized that when you started,
your story shouldn't change.
I realized when you started, right, Gwen, before...
When you meet with your clients, you can tell when your client is lying to you.
Yes.
The body language alone. And you remember, as a former loan officer, I was trained to observe all those things, eh?
Yes.
So in 5 minutes, I would have been able to tell a customer if he's going to get through with the loan or if he would not be getting through with the loan. In layman terms.
When I listened to you started first, you were you were giving points, but you weren't giving them opportunity to correct themselves. But then I realized, perhaps you realized that they weren't taking the suggestions or the recommendations.
No, they have no intentions of doing that, even now. Even if they were to tell you that they're willing to listen to you, that's not true. They're very strong-headed.
Yeah.
Because it's the race right now to, I don't even want to say to the bottom, because maybe they think that they're racing to the top, even though it looks like they're racing to the bottom. But they all feel that they need to get to heaven quickly. It's all about wealth and riches, overnight. It's not about the country and the people anymore. As that is clear to be seen, nothing is getting done. As you and Sylvine just spoke about the Bastille High School. What is hampering these people? Is that this thing about money, you have to manage it well,
Yep.
They need to manage the resources of the country, and that is a problem.
And the thing about it,
that is a problem. It really boils down to mismanagement.
And if there's any
there are things going on that a lot of people don't know.
And if there's any mismanagement, this isn't their homes, this isn't their private lives. This is a country. So many people are going to be affected, and I think we need to understand that this isn't whether or not we just like them, because they're not governing their private lives. They're not governing their homes, their own financial affairs. They're governing the resources of the country. And at the end of the day,
it's not good to try and just give a story to make you look good, and then you'd give another story to make somebody else look bad. I continue to tell the people of St. Kitts, Dr. Harris was groomed by Dr. Douglas as a young man, 29, 30. That's a lot of grooming, because remember, he's going to be 60 this year. He was born 1964. December, my birth month.
Yes. It's so sad because
he's a financial guru in accounting. A medical doctor is not.
Yeah. Yes.
And they had a right to surround themselves with people who have business acumen. You don't have to be my friend. It's business.
And
we have those persons in St. Kitts.
And at the end of the day,
have to go and take $50,000 and $40,000 EC dollars to pay somebody, from abroad. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, is that?
Yeah. And
we have people in St. Kitts, but they don't have to be a friend. But one of the weaknesses of the Labour Party, among many, is to always want a clique around them, calling them their friends. And those are the persons who should benefit tremendously in the political arena, among themselves as cabinet ministers and their associates. And this is why they surrounded themselves with advisors who are really square pegs and round holes. That's why we're getting this sort of result.
Yes. Yes.
And it's sad. Because, as I said, it's affecting, the whole country.
Yeah,
and there were people who just sitting by. I mean, look at the business community. Not a word. You remember when they wanted Douglas out, everybody was talking. Prominent lawyers, they were coming on. I mean, bashing like crazy. You know that?
Yes.
You think Dr. Douglas is not sitting down there watching the slaughter? You really think so? I'm going to call it for what it is, eh? He's watching the slaughter. He's not a dumb individual,
And
that man is a very smart man.
There are persons, persons saying that the ministers have to travel, but the travel at this point in time is excessive.
No, that's not true. That's not true. It's all about the money. It's the per diem. And the perks, and make it look like you're hobnobbing with, people out there of caliber. I mean, come on. But what are you bringing back? You're traveling, and what are you bringing back? We are looking at the results now. What are you bringing back? Those persons can't see that they're coming back empty, and it's just platitudes and sound bites?
Exactly.
You tell me.
When you see the pictures, you're just seeing pictures of
it's just pictures all the time. I mean, where are we going, Azard? Where are we going? How could right-thinking people sit down and say, yes, they have to travel, and they're bringing back nothing for the country? Because those persons every 2 weeks are getting their accounts credited with a salary.
And at the end of the day, to the expense of the country, because we have local issues.
At the expense of the country.
We have local issues here that aren't addressed.
To come to the public, they have to say something to make everybody believe everything is going good. And Azard, you and I live here. We know it's not going good. It's not going well at all. I talk to business people all the time. They'll tell you how awful the economy is right now. Very slow.
Yes.
People struggling.
But
I'm not struggling, Azard. I am not talking because I'm struggling.
Yes.
The government knows I don't want anything from them.
But at the end of the day, all you
years I've come home to sit down, and I plan to sit down for the rest of my life because I put things in place. And when you talk this way, they say you're boasting. But it's the truth. I'm telling people if they stay focused, they'll be able to do the same thing. Who wouldn't want to? Azard, wouldn't you like to wake up one day and say, hey, I don't have to go to work, but I know to make money?
Yes.
Now, tell me who wouldn't want that life. Tell me. And be contented with it. Because remember, greed is something that cause people to always have anxiety and always want to be making more. But if you have a contented mind and you're comfortable with what you're making, and I keep telling people it is gross, less expenses equal net. And you live within the net, you're good to go. Azard, take it from me, but I'm living it.
Wonderful.
Azard, you don't need anybody else to tell you anything. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
In layman terms.
Yes.
You don't need a central banker to come and tell you anything about what the professor taught them and use particular language and then go back to work. It's simple. Gross. You must know where the gross is coming from, so you set out to deal with that during your lifetime. And this is why young people need to get up off their laurels, stop waiting for free money, and put things in place. Because the things that you will put in place to make money will rebound to their benefit down the road. And that is the gross. Mm-hmm. That is the gross I'm talking about. Knowing where the money is coming from. Then your expenses, your different utilities and whatever. You juggle accordingly, and then you come down to a net figure. And if you do that every month, is that nobody should be living a better life than you? Because remember, we have something called wants and needs, eh? Mm-hmm. You deal with the needs. And then depending on what the net is saying, you could handle the wants. Is clear as crystal. And people need to start paying attention. Unless they do that, Azard, and this goes for the whole world, they will never get ahead. This is why from time to time, people embezzle money, steal, do all sorts of nefarious acts, because they're not in the world of gross expenses and net.
There's a comment here that says most time these trips are completed by the organization who hosts government officials. What you said to that comment?
Excuse me?
That I see a comment on the Facebook page that said most of the time these trips are, I think, they're supposed to be completed, or maybe it's paid by the organizations who host government officials.
That's the excuse they want you to believe. Not every time that's not true. There is no prime minister who travels with his wife every time he's traveling. That is not true. Why are we using cobwebs? Why? Tell me, Azard. Mm-hmm. There was somebody who tried to justify and say every time Biden travels. Why are we doing these comparisons?
Yes.
That is not true. It is just not true. And I've spoken to people who live in the States, and they will tell me the same thing too. Y'all don't hear swallowing garbage and hogwash? Yes, the people here swallowing garbage and hogwash. It is just simply not true. Mm-hmm. I continue to say Dr. Drew needs to come clean with the people of St. Kitts. That is all I'm simply asking him to do. Come clean with the people of St. Kitts. We put him in the position, we gave him the keys to the Mercedes-Benz. Azard, have a good day.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you for your contribution. We'll take a short break and we'll get back.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sip and she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Caller, go ahead.
No call.
No call.
No.
Okay, so yes. So very interesting discussion this morning. You understand? And going back, so I want to thank all the callers who called in this morning and gave up their opinion. We had a very, very interesting talk. And of course, going back to the article that we began with, saying, that persons in St. Kitts and Nevis, the premier was making the statement that, you know, we need more people, you know. So that was a statement that was made. You know what?
And basically the fact that they might have to incentivize it. But I remember I was telling you about St. Vincent, where the Prime Minister said that they spoke to women who said that no amount of money would make them have any more children.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
So, and then in this comment, right, you have here, right, you got Brantley said, there are days in St. Kitts and Nevis when people used to have 10 and 12 and 15 children. Those days are long behind us. So what's the answer? I had a conversation with some females of childbearing age and said to them, would it be possible if the government were to incentivize through tax or other benefits for women having more children? And the quote goes on to say, the response that I got was no amount of money would encourage them to have any children. End of quote.
Exactly. And incidentally, on the 24th, because I just found, remember, so I was looking for the New York Times article that I read. It was on the 24th also, because I was having trouble finding it at first. They interviewed 3 women because of the demographic problems that the Chinese government is facing. It turns out, let me just give you some statistics. It seems as though by let me see. Okay, because of the one child, of the one child policy after all those years, it turns out that China is gonna be a serious demographic problem. Okay, in fact, the population replacement rate, that's what I was trying to remember. It's something called the population replacement rate. It is estimated to be around 1.3 children per woman, right? China claims that the PRR is higher, but numbers don't lie. Every nation needs a PRR of 2.1 to maintain a steady population. No nation which has fallen below the 2.1 figure has ever recovered. And South Korea has a PRR of about 0.75, far worse than China. So what's happening now is that the Chinese government is, after all those years, they actually used to kill female babies and so on.
Yeah, they was
just
imagine at one point in time they were so strict on this one child per family. So strict because of the increase. The population was growing; it was going very fast. They, through policies, restricted that.
Yeah, and now they're trying to reverse that.
Now they're trying to,
and they're getting pushed back.
And person's like, no, it's like you have already built in such a culture, and for years, that is now difficult.
Exactly.
To remove.
Exactly. Yes. We have some phones. Some phone calls coming.
No problem.
Caller, go right ahead.
Good morning.
Hi,
good morning, Cleo.
Azard, kudos to you. Kudos to you for how you handle kudos.
Thank you.
Jamster, how is China, the amount of women you say you're going to need for China to procreate? They have a problem because remember, China don't respect women. Remember, they started with one child because the main thing when you get pregnant, the one child was supposed to be a boy.
Yes,
they were encouraging boys.
Girl was not accepted.
Yes.
So how they gonna get that way?
And the other thing was that the demographic studies have shown that there's never been a history of a country recovering from a subpar PRR rate. So it means that if China pulls it off, that'll be a miracle. So it means that, and I think they said by the end of the century, it'll be down to they'll be down to 600 million or less.
I wonder what's our rate.
But in any case, guys.
Yes.
Who wants to be breeding at this time? Man ain't see how hard life is. The Bible says, woe be unto the woman who have baby and breast when Jesus cracked the sky. Because you're going to run and you got baby hanging on your titty. You have a good day.
Thank you, caller. The article goes on to say, right, Jam, so that the 2021 census results for St. Kitts and Nevis marked the first time since the 1960s that the population surpassed 50,000.
You mean for us?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because ever since I was a kid, I've been hearing the same number.
Yeah, it's
so it almost seems that we have this weird equilibrium where it just basically stayed the same.
Yeah.
I would like to know what the PRR, what our PRR number is.
Yeah, that would
actually
be interesting.
Yeah. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Ryland T.
Good morning.
Are you sipping on some ganja tea?
What you said?
Ada,
Yes.
that young black lady from up the village,
Yes.
convent school student, she's not a fool, eh? And she's very versed when it comes to this song singing. Just like Miss Lino, these is the black sisters we want to stand up. This political party tribalism, we must not carry it no more. KC is done. We must look out for the well-being of the country. And that is what that young lady demonstrated this morning. I hope you all take her. Because when she go on other stations, they're trying to make mockery a serious business. Be strong, my sister. Be strong. I sure she hearing me and she know me. Because me and no voice many times. We talk very good.
Yeah.
But this is a political thing. You stand and me labor. We got to look out for the well-being of the country.
Yes.
We cannot that young blokes want to do a life in a country and sense of the people just watching the slaughter. And then that young to young. Many times they come in these media and talk. And they come in, but they don't come to fabricate from our song. That's Miss Alone in our song years ago. But I don't go down the road. And I congratulate the young women. Keep coming to the country. His voices like you all we want to hear. Don't leave it for them now alone. I will never hold my peace.
Yes.
Once I sense wrong things is going on in Sinkit. She's right.
Yes.
She support the Labour Party. 2 years, just like me supporting them. But when you reach your church holy, you got to say enough is enough. And move on. This ain't one people country. This ain't one set country. This is all of us.
And we only have this country. For many of us, this
we
is.
only got this.
So for many of us, this is it.
I want to talk about this morning here. Before I leave. Is that the Social Security got to get themselves in order? If they cannot come to this country with some town hall meeting, they're only telling the population problem down there.
Yes.
Because we at the circus bench don't see that it's more like that, more like talk about these things. When you have man like Sweetie man, Warner. You have man like Old Clark, Ruby Taylor, Edel, a young lady at Monkey. Oh, she's a dagger.
Yes.
She don't play with the Social Security money. No, you ain't got this. Politicians going on there. Depends on what kind of color cloth they carry and they get them out the job. And they got so much to offer to these organizations. We don't clean it up.
Yeah.
Because the man over so better than all of them. And he born here, So they could come and try to demonize him all the time. The people of this country will go and work with Timothy Harris warmingly because better than all of them. We want a good life, So I get myself in line in that. Have a good day.
Thanks for your contribution, Jamdong. Thank you. And right here, we have a special guest this morning. We have Lexi Brooks, and we also have Mr. Irwin Clare. I hope I pronounced that word. Irwin, yes, Irwin Clare. So we have had such a heated discussion this morning, and we want to bring it back to, sports. We want to bring it back to persons who have been, persons here from St. Kitts who are doing good things in the diaspora, persons who continue to contribute in terms of nation building by being good examples for persons to follow. So, Mr. Irwin Clare. Yes, Mr. Irwin Clare. Yes. Could you tell us just in a minute your background so we could have some information? I know we have not much time. Yes.
My name is Irwin Clare. I head up an organization called Team Jamaica Bicker that takes care of athletes from Jamaica and the Caribbean that goes to the Penn Relays. and we've been doing it now for the past 30 years. The Penny Relays is the longest running relays in the world, a very significant athletic platform for youngsters to showcase their talents. And over the years, we've had Jamaican teams have been going there for the past 60 years. And we started our organization 30 years to help and assist teams to come to the Penny Relays, and in so doing, include our Caribbean brothers and sisters. This year, we're privileged to accommodate a team here from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. From St. Kitts rather. Yes. That went to the Penny Relays for the first time, and so we were quite elated by that, and because it demonstrates Caribbean oneness, and how we take on the world stage. Under the theme, of course, we're little, but we're Talawa. We're making an impression.
And now that you have spoken, and now looking back at this, I thought at one point in time, you were born, but you're Jamaican.
Yeah, I'm Jamaican, but I'm Caribbean.
Yes. Yes. Because that last name is certainly, I think, has some Jamaican roots, and the accent is.
Can you spell that last name?
Clare.
Oh, Claire.
Yeah,
yes,
Claire.
Yes.
So
I have relatives here.
No, I don't know.
Yes. So I do want to thank you. So tell us about, for persons out there who aren't very much aware of the relays, you mentioned it. Could you tell us how that is organized and how our country has participated in it, and how has the participation been?
Sure. Kyla Hibbert, which is a kitchen in Philadelphia, also part of what we do there at Team Jamaica, because when we say we take care of our athletes, we're talking about providing discounted hotel rooms, transportation to and fro the field, all the food, and food is very important because nutrition part of the existence of an athlete is critical to their performance, and so we provide, of course, Jamaican style / Caribbean style meals for athletes once they get off the plane to the time they get back on. We also provide medical, chiropractic. We also have insurance for our athletes once they get off the plane to the time they go back to their respective schools and countries. And so it's a collective of volunteers. We have to fundraise for this. And a person sitting beside me, Lexi Brooks, is one of our contributors because it's a collective endeavor. We're talking about in excess of $250,000 US on a yearly basis, plus that same amount in kind to make it happen. When we invest in our athletes, good things happen for the athletes, their families, their schools, and the country. So it's a good investment at the initial stage that we do all we can in making sure the infrastructure and the support mechanism is there for athletes, because it goes a far way in promoting our country.
So the games, they're usually held
the end of April. The end of April. It's the second longest running athletic event in the world.
It's at the beginning of the track season.
Yes, you see. So your school here that came this year, Charles E. Mills Secondary, was the first time they're coming there. And
how did they do?
They did pretty well. You got to understand it. I think the most important thing that Charles E. Mills would have taken out is the exposure, the camaraderie amongst teams going there. Remember now, we're talking about 600 tops teams out of the Caribbean, Jamaica and the Caribbean, going to the Penny Relays where there's 23,000 athletes. And just so we size it up for your listeners.
Yes.
You're talking about, it has now become, in the high school category, Jamaica versus the United States. and that is how now we bring in the Caribbean, because we have teams now from St. Vincent, Belize,
Bahamas. I saw Bahamas this year for the first time.
Bahamas has been coming there for several years.
Okay, I just noticed.
Yes. But the whole idea though is the fact that we are there on stage. And the exposure the kids would have gotten, and exposure from other schools, and when I say other schools, I mean colleges who are looking to see how they can beef up their track program. So what does that mean for our student athletes here? Opportunities for scholarships.
Yes.
You see, because we must remember, guys, is less than 1% of our athletes will ever go on the Olympic podium. So the question is, what happens to the 99.999%? Their academics and the opportunities to showcase their talents through that whole process.
Okay. And for those persons who might not be aware of the Penn Relays, it was already hosted.
Full disclosure, this is right up my alley.
Yes.
I'm a trackhead.
He's a trackhead.
In fact, I'm wondering what you're doing here with the Jamaica trial starting today.
Well, I got my priorities in order because you see the lady beside me here.
Yes.
She's the mover and shaker of your St. Kitts Music Fest.
Yes.
And if she comes and says, Erwin, you're going to St. Kitts, especially the year in which St. Kitts sent their first team to the pen relays, I have to be here because I have to make sure my bread is buttered on the right side.
Yes. So
but you're absolutely correct.
They're here in support of the St. Kitts Music Festival as well. Yes. And so the pen relays, it was hosted in which country this year?
Well, it's always in Philadelphia.
The same place.
Always in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
always Philadelphia, known as the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Comes that time of year, as you know, it's the ascendancy of the Jamaican. I guess the word
Penn gives it away.
Yes.
So it's like Penn State.
Well, not Penn State, though. Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania.
Yes. Meaning the states.
Yes. So you see the ascendancy of Jamaican and Caribbean teams on Philadelphia. And that changes the whole landscape, Okay. And just to let your listeners know, to those who've been, as we celebrate St. Kitts Music Fest, is that for the first time this year, we were able to take reggae music into this traditional institution right there in the stadium.
Yes, again, I saw the thing at the end.
So that was
very interesting.
Yeah, very stark for us, and it shows Caribbean power. You see, that's what it is, and it shows the might of the Caribbean, and we're very happy for that.
Go ahead, Lexi.
Lexi, you could speak.
Yes. So good morning to
Lexi, you don't need permission to speak. Come on.
Put up her hand. Right.
Good morning to my Kittition divisions. Good morning to my WINNFM family. Thank you for having us. Yes, we were very proud of the St. Kitts team at the Pen Relays this year. And as you know, sports and music go hand in hand, right? And so Mr. Clare was quite impressed. And I said, well, if you think you're impressed now, wait until you reach St. Kitts, right? And so I noticed that in the beginning, you said that we're from St. Kitts. Listen, we're going to take it. Don't say shh. We are Kittitians.
Yes.
Kittitian Jamaicans.
Yes.
And so, so I'm happy that Mr. Clare's here. He's visited quite a few schools. Just to spread the word, share the word, we have great, amazing athletes and musicians here in St. Kitts. And so we want them to know and get the exposure to know that there are opportunities out there for them, that there are scholarships out there for them, because we have some of the very best. You hear I say we, because I'm Kittitian, we have some of the very best in St. Kitts. I just left Diet Bay Primary School, which is my adopted school since 2008, and I love them. And every year I visit them around this time and give them little goodies and treats.
Awesome.
So, let's thank Mr. Clare for being here. As you know, music and sports go hand in hand. Music and sports. And so he was also kind enough to put up and promote our music festival flyer on the Jumbotron at Pen Relays this year. So we got we couldn't pay for that. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. We could not have paid for that. So we were happy that they were able to give us that exposure also for the music festival. And speaking of the music festival, I am so happy to be back for my 21st year, assisting in my capacity as
but
booking
you
agent.
don't look like you're 18, so this is 21.
And a big shout out, thank you, Mrs. Julie Martin, for facilitating this interview. I'll turn it over back to Mr. Clare because I know he has a few words to say. Shout out my friend Tamisha, Shervin, and Cecilia, because girl, you're in so we name on the radio so long. So shout out everyone, all my family. Big up Marriott and all the persons that's been helping us. Thank you again to WINNFM and to everyone and staff here. So Mr. Clare, this is your platform, sir.
I just want to quickly say,
say a few things.
Lexi, thanks very much for taking us here. And I've been to St. Kitts before, but quickly just to share this though, and I know I have support from this. It's important that there be a collective approach to how we support our athletes. It's important that we have the infrastructure in place. It doesn't take much, It doesn't take much, all right. And I think that there's opportunities for a private-public partnership. When we invest in our athletes at this stage, invest in the root will ensure that we are beneficiaries of the fruit. But we can't just be there just to take the pictures at the end. We are marginalizing ourselves. Put a little more resources in our young people. When our young people see these resources coming towards them, they will make us proud. Because as you know, every time an athlete, and when I say an athlete, I mean a sports person, go out into the world and they're recognized as being from St. Kitts and the flag flies, we can't pay for that imagery. And I think Kim Collins magnified that for us. So there are other Kim Collinses out there. But the point of the matter I'm making here is that our young people deserves a better opportunity to showcase their talent. Let's invest in them. Let's put aside the tribalery and the fiefdoms and get on with it. You know, it makes sense.
Yes,
well said.
Definitely. Yeah.
But before you go, how you love that Bullis boy though, Quincy? Oh my God,
it's frightening. But you know, I hope they don't rush him. You know, take it easy because he has some great talent. But as you know, in this world, it's a fickle system. A little injury here throws you off.
But he seems very mature for his age.
Oh yes,
right?
he does, and that's what frightens me. You know that they may want to throw him into the ocean.
And you know he's on the honor roll.
Yes. That's awesome, and that's the other thing we must stress too. Academics is important, and when they go hand in hand, you have a potency there that you can't defend. It's powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Mr. Clay.
Yes. So so we have Mr. Clear and we also have Lexi. It has been a wonderful morning. You guys have given us like this burst of energy, you know.
And you know, having Lexi here, this is a perfect segue for the next because we're bringing the St. Kitts Music Festival press conference. Lexi, you're not wearing your headphones? Come on.
The St. Kitts Music Festival is the next segue.
The press conference.
Absolutely, right. So this leads right into that. And of course, you know, a lot of artists arrived yesterday. Some big heavyweights arriving today.
Yes.
And this is the place to be at this time of the year. I mean, it is the premier festival of the Caribbean. So what do you expect? You know?
Definitely.
And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone and the weather seems to be fantastic. And you know, we've got Third World already in house, Kabaka Pyramid already in house. We've got a lot of the artists. I saw Mikal Tajay, Trinidad Soca winner this year, already in house. Nadia Batson is already in house. My goodness, the entire festival committee team, liaisons. I mean, you should see the office. I mean, they're working away to make sure the experience is one like no other. Yeah. So I'm sure I'm going to see you gentlemen at the festival.
I must say I'm going to have a problem for the next few days because I was saying
I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing me? No, I was saying I'm going to have a problem next few days, Clear, because you know, Jamaica trial starts tonight.
And you got to be preoccupied with it, right?
I want to watch the CNN debate, and I also watched the U.S. trials, which resumed today. You know, they had 2 days off.
It's a lot of things taking place.
Oh my God! And then you have to.
And good luck to your team heading to Jamaica to try to make it to qualify, get a qualifying time for the Olympics as well. You have a team that is there this weekend.
Oh, they're heading to going to Jamaica.
Yeah, to get a qualifying time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Clare, as well, this is the sportsman. This is what you have is gold this morning. This is Penn Relays Team Jamaica Bickle. You know, so. Yes, we're so excited. I love sports and I love music. And again, I'm a St. Kitts waving flag. Born Jamaican, adopted Kittitian, right? And so when Mr. Clear, because Mr. Clear is the one that told me that there was a team from St. Kitts at Penn Relays this year.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that made me very proud. And I wanted him to come and, let other schools know, let other teams know, let other sports teams know that the opportunities are in fact out there, and people like himself and others are here to welcome them in whatever capacity that he can do so. So yes, we have some of the best, I know the best track team. This is going to get me in trouble. The best track team, primary school.
I think you better hold it.
DFA Primary School. DFA Primary School.
We're not going to argue that.
I ain't mad because I have family from DFA. Lots. I used to spend summers and so on in DFA, so I'm not mad.
Yeah. We just left there, and the kids are bright, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. They have their exams this week. But yeah, so here we are, sports and music. Thank you for having us. I so appreciate that.
No
the festival is alive and kicking. The energy, the vibe that I've been seeing around town is great. The artists are excited coming in. Freddie Jackson, Mary J. Blige, arriving today. All your favorites. There's the Business Signal, the Rick Rosses. It's a great festival, great lineup. I have to say kudos to the PS and to the organizers and to the chairmen and so on and so forth. But back to the sports. I'll let Mr.
Okay. Well, we got to wrap now because we have the like I said, we have the press conference coming up next. But Mr. Clear, this was an honor. I really wish you had come earlier. We could have really gotten into this because I'm a big track head here. I mean,
yes,
you know,
he can always come back. He's here for
and you're educating him, right?
He can always come back. He's here for several days.
Yeah, so thank you so much, guys.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna go prepare for the start of the first press conference for St. Kitts Music Festival 2024. Let's go over here.
Magic happening. Campari. Taste. Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right.